topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives. I'm Debi, your certified holistic health coach. I revitalize people's lives by helping them identify the root causes of their health and mindset issues and create a custom, natural, holistic strategy to address them in the areas of mind, body, and soul. As a health coach, I'm not allowed to say that I heal, treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any diseases. I certainly can make your body more efficient by reducing symptoms. You'll feel better, be more productive, and enjoy life more. Now, not many people have released 70 pounds, had a health and mindset transformation, and kept fit and trim for over a decade. I have, and I have staying power. And it's actually been 11 years. I even became a half marathon runner at the age of 51 when I never ran from childhood to adulthood due to foot pain. And I have done 8 half marathons so far. Mindset is the key to lasting change. As a certified holistic health coach, I do revitalize people's lives in many different areas of health and mindset. I guide them to clean, toxic-free foods and high quality essential nutrients. My coaching is for optimizing your health, releasing weight efficiently when needed, and enhancing your mindset. With my clients, I help them recognize that their thoughts, feelings, and emotions drive their action and results, sometimes good and sometimes bad. That's why it's crucial to have a positive mindset in life. It's also imperative to release those low vibrational emotions, such as fear, frustration, and doubt, because all they're going to do is slow you down and get you stuck, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Like a hot air balloon with ballasts, I help my clients release those emotional ballasts and baggage so they can uplift to a better, healthier, and healthier life by releasing their stress and reshaping their core beliefs and they will be getting healthier. And they will feel and see the differences with my programs. Ask me about them. Set up a complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives, DEBICHANGESLIVE as in Victory ES.com /Linktree LINKTREE. And I'll guide you to that better, happier, healthier life with custom solutions unique to you in the areas of mind, body, and soul. Now remember, I have a new collaboration with Alan Stephens. He's an international profiler and communication specialist. It's called Your Face Reveals and Your Mind Transforms. And it's 2 talks in one. My talk is Master Your Mind and Transform Your Life. So I'm going to help you recognize that stress and emotions tank your health, how to be aware of what to do, and some techniques. Alan's topic is unlocking the secret language of your face, where he's going to show you that there's hidden traits in the face that you can recognize for yourself and others so that you can communicate more efficiently and have better relationships, both in business and personal life. Now, this live webinar is on Wednesday, October 22nd at 7 p.m. Pacific. And you can get more information at bit.ly/Your Face Reveals, Your Mind Transforms, all as one word. And remember, you'll get the recording, the offers, and discounts. And even if you may not be able to make it, but you need to purchase the ticket. So go ahead and do that right now. Now, I truly believe that health and wealth go hand in hand. Health is something that you need if you want to enjoy your wealth. And also health is wealth because it gives you wellness. Today, my guest is Kathy Cuevas, a former high school business teacher turned financial coach who broke free from being a single mom and being broke and became a millionaire. Now she helps women over 40 to ditch that guilt, build real wealth, and confidently rewrite their financial futures. With practical coaching with no fluff, Kathy shows women how to budget, invest, and thrive with grace and no guilt. She's a perfect example of what she teaches, and she retired early and now coaches by choice. How does financial freedom affect how you serve others? Well, Kathy is very passionate about helping others, and she loves it. So today we're going to be discussing secrets to millionaire money, wealth, and financial freedom for women. So let's welcome Kathy Cuevas, a financial coach and founder of Financial Freedom Pathway. Kathy, welcome to my show.
Hi, thank you, Debbie. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm glad you can make it. This is going to be fun. So with everybody's life, they have a turning point. What was your turning point when you knew something had to change financially?
After my first divorce, which went on for quite some time, and I was beginning teacher, not making a very lot of money. I think it was maybe around $25,000 back in the day. So it wasn't even enough to cover the mortgage payment with my take-home pay, much less feed the girls and stuff. So I actually was rock bottom and had my first credit card debt ever. It seems like it was around $7,000 or so. And I think most of it was to help feed and clothe the girls. Some of it might've been an attorney retainer, but it was overwhelming. I mean, that $7,000 might as well have been hundreds of thousands on a $25,000 salary with not even that much take home. So it was really, I was struggling with where to turn and how to make ends meet. It was probably my biggest low point.
And were the girls young? I guess you had two of them, right?
Yeah, I have two girls. I think at that time they were probably around 11 and 12 or early teens. It depends on what part of through the divorce, because the divorce process lasted about 7 years and he was no longer living the last 3 years. So it was really a long ordeal and traumatic and difficult and everything else.
Yeah, it's emotionally taking. And yeah, I can imagine you were wiped out and the girls were probably, beside themselves as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. No fun at all. Okay, so how do you help women over 40 who feel like it's too late to get their finances together?
Well, I picked that age because that was my turning point. Once I started making more income, once he had passed and I was getting Social Security for the girls till they were 18, I was able to pay off that debt and pick up my bootstraps, finally get an emergency account that I've never had. And eventually, a few years after that, like in my 50s, I think, started putting away in my retirement account. So I literally started late after, taking care of everything. And then little at a time, I built it up. And with my savings that I had, I was probably over saving because of what I'd been through and didn't want to go back there again, which everybody, once you've been there, you don't want to go back. So I was an excessive saver. And that's what led me to have money to start buying my rental properties later on.
But that came in really handy. It's kind of like when I lost my 70 pounds. I didn't want to gain it back. There's no way. And then I became a half marathon runner. And honestly, I was never able to run my whole entire life. I was even told that you'll never be a runner. And look what I've done. And look what you've done. You learn how to save because you're put into that situation.
Yeah, it was fight or flight.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? It's a learning lesson for everybody. And what's great is that you're now sharing your knowledge, how you did it. Yeah.
It was important to me to always pay it forward and help others so that they would either not have to go through what I did or to get through it faster if they were in the midst of it, or just waking up in their 40s or 50s and say, hey, I've got nothing in retirement. They may not be living paycheck to paycheck, but just never thought about their future because you never know what that holds, whether you're married or not or whatever. So it was an eye opener.
Yeah. Are you seeing that you're attracting people that have been in your situation before?
Some of them, some are new single parents, and it's difficult because now it's like one income and still almost all the bills, they didn't get halved or they didn't get, whatever. They're almost one and a half from what they were before as far as your portion of helping to pay for it. So a lot of them have the same struggles and the same overwhelm, the same concerns. Now what do? I never put in retirement. And like with my first husband, we put everything in his company because they matched. So even as a teacher, I didn't really think about the forced pension we were paying. I never had anything in a 403B. I just didn't have extra to do that. So it was having to start from scratch in my late 30s to early 40s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's tough. But at least from your journey, you learned maybe there's some resources that you got that you can, share that people have when they're in those desperate straits. I'm sure you found some resources.
I actually created them. I've always loved computers, and my student teaching actually was on Apple IIe's, where you had the big fat square floppies you put in with the programs. So
I remember those.
I'm dating myself now. I became really good at Excel, and I actually created my own grading programs for school, weighting my tests in my class grade 60-40 and having to add all the numbers because I didn't want to be the teacher with the old pen and paper, which is what they all did, to do grades and take hours to it. So I did all that. But regarding my finances, I created my own budget sheets. I knew how to put formulas in. So I added, I put my paycheck in one column, and then I did all my, I custom made my spreadsheet, which is an offer I have for later on. I did the categories and I just simplified it. If the category didn't fit, I changed it, or if a whole section didn't fit, like for example, legal fees, I didn't have that. So I just took that off the page and just made it for me, which made it easy. So then I can easily start punching in numbers. And once you see the numbers, hey, I'm overspending. What can I cut back on? Then when, you cut the cable, or you cut this, you cut that. But I was kind of frugal before anyway. I just never paid attention where money was going. And that's probably the most important thing. People, it's just a $5 latte. Yeah, but every day it's like $1,800 a year.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They don't see that big number. And I think, well, if you put $1,800 in a bank account, what would you have had with the interest? And now your money's paying you back. Not much at that time, but you get the idea that you don't see the small leaks that are causing you from having the big step forward.
Yeah, I have something similar to that. It's called which is going to be talking about the end, but I have people do a daily action journal. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to food, there's values of food and calories and carbs and how much you need and things like that. And when people really learn how to utilize it, and I know a lot of people don't like doing it, just like they probably don't want to do spreadsheets. They'll learn the values of food, and they'll learn what is best for them to eat and what is, going to, something they have to work really hard at with exercise to get rid of. Yeah. So, but you learn from trial and error, and you learn to modify, and you grew from that. And I'm sure you teach that to your students too, because they have a different lifestyle. Not all of them, but you know what I mean.
Well, I worked at a Title I school. They were 90% on free lunch. So they were all impoverished. Some of them lived multiple families in a house. Some lived out of a garage of a house. So I had one student at one time earlier, before I taught the finance class, she lived with her mother in a car. So they were at the bottom with finances. And the only thing I asked my kids to do is tell your parents, pay it forward. And a lot of them did that. Some that I came in contact with after I retired, I was just very happy. They've started their own businesses, because at the end of my class, I had to write a business plan, how they started it with their own money and so forth. And it was just nice to see that they found a way out of their financial circumstance for their family and helped them get out of there. So that was very rewarding.
No kidding, because you saw fruit from all of the work that you put into, all the seeds that you planted, and just developed into this wonderful fruit for others. That's great. That's great. Now, what are the biggest mistakes you see women making, and how do you help them to fix it?
Probably, like you mentioned earlier, the biggest mistake is not tracking your money. And if they don't like spreadsheets, there are so many apps out there, and a lot of them that are free to just log, because a lot of people, they carry cash. I prefer to carry credit cards that way I can see line for line where my money went. But those people that like to spend cash, or have it in their pocket, say take 100 a week or something, they never know where it went. They just took another 100 out. So it's just tracking everything. And some of the apps make it so easy.
Yeah, I would think tracking cash is kind of difficult unless they get receipts from everything they've done.
Well, you have your phone in your hand. I mean, who doesn't have a phone today? And the app is right there. So just instead of sending a text, just sit there, pick up the app and log what you just spent money on. And a lot of people, if they really want to, they'll do it. So they have to really want to change their current circumstances. If they don't want to change, you can't make them. So that's the thing. I don't take a client that's not willing to make changes if they really want different results.
So change is not hard. You make it hard, and you can do baby steps to get there. So it's really important that, if you want to better your life, there's going to be change. And you can do it smaller or you could do it big jumps. It's all up to the individual. Mm-hmm. I completely agree with that. I know that some people may have visions that's like over 40 eyes, and maybe the computer might be a better resource than the small phone. So I'm sure those apps are on the phone as well, right? Or at least they,
Well, the apps are on the phone, but if they want the spreadsheet, they can track it, like even on a notepad on their phone, just write down what they spent money on. Or if they want to keep the receipts, then they go home and go on their laptop or desktop and then put those receipts on their computer.
Well, I meant their computer. There's some apps you can get on the computer as well. Right?
Oh, yeah. Well, the one I love that it's no longer there was Mint Money. I loved Mint, and it's no longer there, but there's some that took its place. And I'm using Lunch Money with my clients, and that's a really nice app. I love it. It's on the computer.
Yeah, because it's probably easier to type it on the computer. Because I have sometimes, there's a lot of typos in my text messages. So I got to say that much. Sometimes even in my emails. But anyways, and it's just easier to see things on a computer versus something on your phone. Mm-hmm. Now, you already told us how you became frugal. And you teach your clients to do that. But there's some side hustles that played in a role in your path of becoming a millionaire. So can you explain some of those?
I didn't really have a path. It was not anything I ever envisioned or dreamed of. It. I hate to say, I just kind of fell into it. Because I was such a saver, I had this money in my bank account, let's say $80,000 or $100,000. And I didn't really know. This was before I taught myself how to invest. I was actually buying properties before I invested. And if you remember back in 2007, 8, and 9, the market took a huge correction, and $350,000 properties were all selling for under $100,000. And I picked up 3 of them. I bought the first with cash, because cash buyers are queen or king. And then I quickly refinanced it, took a loan out and bought the second one, did the same thing and bought the third one. So that's where I started from. Just using one, and as they built equity, take out more and then buy another one. And I ended up, I think at the most a couple of years ago, I had 5, but I sold a couple off and I only have 3 left. And I'm looking to sell 2 of those, buy my retirement house, that's single story, and then keep the one I have as a rental, which would be more income than the other one. So I just kind of fell into it. And in between there, I taught myself through Motley Fool and different things. I was very curious. I was a business major, obviously, in college. So that's how I got to teach the personal finance class once it came to my school. And I became one of their best teachers that I actually got certified, and I wrote the curriculum for the advanced course, and then they passed it to the other high schools. I went to a lot of seminars on how to buy and trade stocks, how to do options, and all the fancy things I never thought you could ever do with no money. And you didn't really have to have. Well, I started with $50 in my trading account, and now it's worth quite a bit more. So it was fun and nice. I've had a lot of harsh lessons, but nobody, not even Warren Buffett, is a perfect investor. You win some, you lose some, but you have more wins, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. So I'm going to backtrack because you actually said a lot. Now, when you bought homes, right? Or do you buy condos or townhomes?
Homes or condos. I have both homes and condos. Yes. Okay.
And did you find that the homes were better than buying a condo?
It doesn't really. I don't find a difference to it. They both pretty much appreciate as well. Depends on where they're at. It's all about location, as any agent will tell you. I have some homes in gated communities, some not. The condos are in gated communities. I've had homes that were not in gated communities and not the best of areas. I rented them out pretty well until the clientele started being of lower caliber that weren't taking care of the property. And actually one tenant that was evicted came back and torched it, set it on fire. while it
Oh,
was
no.
vacant. And that was after I cleaned it up after her mess. So I've seen a lot of horror stories and a lot of good stuff, but it all, you just have to, like I teach my clients that are interested in investing in properties, how to properly screen tenants and what to do. So I teach them everything I learned from the School of Hard Knocks.
Wow. Do you have like a list for them to look at as they screen their tenants that might be potential tenants?
I have questions that I tell them they need to ask for, how much income they need to have, debt to income ratio. I teach about a site that I use that advertises everywhere when they have a vacancy and things like that. It also screens and does credit check, background checks, evictions, and things like that. It depends on what they want to do, and the tenants, prospective tenants, pay for it, unless you want to pay for it. But usually, I have all my tenants pay for their own screening report.
Okay.
You just have, but even that, there's a lot of people, and probably now more so than before, there's a lot of con people, as we know what this country is, come to. So even if you're very careful, they might have the suit and tie, but they just might be another scammer using a fake ID. You can only do so much. As long as you do your due diligence, 90% of the time you'll be fine.
But you make sure you have the right type of contracts, for people.
Yes, I got my lease from a real estate agent. Actually, I use that one. In fact, I've got it updated now because now there's all kinds of different forms for like lead-based paint and mold and things like that. There's all kinds of legal stuff added in there, but I always update it from an agent friend that I have and get the CRM forms.
Okay. And when it comes to investing, what you're doing, trading and things like that, it changes all the time. And I'm sure you go to ongoing education for that.
Well, investing doesn't change. Companies change, and it doesn't matter what company you invest in as long as you, like I taught my students in my advanced course, they actually learned how to trade like Warren Buffett does, investigating companies' financial books. And when the stock hits a certain price, if they have a large moat and a bunch of other things like that, that's important. A lot of cash on their books, not loaded with debt. Then they look at these good companies and when they come to a really good price, you buy them and then you just hold it for the long haul. You're not meant to buy and sell. So it's not necessarily having more knowledge. Trading stocks does not change. It's companies that change. And there's a time where if it's a really good company, eventually 20, 30 years, you might have to sell it because their components have changed, their mindset has changed, or they got somebody new at the helm and it's totally changed the trajectory of the company, not for the better, but maybe nonchalant versus more competitive companies. So it's just looking for the companies. It's not necessarily the trading or the education that's changed.
Yeah, but you're educating how to do it is what I'm getting at. So it's a structure that hasn't changed, but you're giving the people to look for certain things.
Yeah, I'm giving them the knowledge how to look for good companies, not telling them what to invest in, because that does change. You're right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what's one mindset shift that changed everything for you? And what do you wish for every woman to know?
Probably the main thing is that my current situation is not my destiny. It's my starting point. And I can paint the picture, the end of the road, any way I want it to be painted, and just have to work towards that. So you have to have a focus of where you want to be. And it's just, I give my clients encouragement. Hey, you've got this. You can do this. I check with them in between the weekly meetings just to kind of be their biggest cheerleader. And they're open to contact me if something comes up. Hey, what should I do? Type thing. And I'll, educate them, not make the decision for them, but equip them. Hey, well, have you looked at this? Have you looked at that? You need to make the decision based upon all your facts. Like I told my students, I would rather be overcautious and look for the negative, but be the devil's advocate. That's what I say. Be devil's advocate. You think this company is great, but what could possibly go wrong with it? And think of that. If the economy changes, what will happen? Like if you bought, for example, fast food, like right now, there's a big switch where fast food was getting more clients. And then the restaurants that were going out of business saw that. So they started coming up with their $10 meals or the kids eat free on Tuesdays and Wednesdays to draw the crowd in away from the McDonald's. So if you get a $10 full meal at a restaurant, yeah, you're paying a tip, but it's a lot better bargain than that Happy Meal package box, whatever they have. So the mindset has shifted. And now the restaurants are now being better than fast food if you want to go in the food industry, if you're picking a specific stock versus a mutual fund. So it depends on how safe, like if you don't like my students that didn't like picking stocks, well, then look at mutual funds. What interests you? What do you like? Because you want to buy a stock you're passionate about. And there's passions in every field, whether you love nursing, then you've got the medical field. And what part of that do you like? Do you like the geriatrics, or do you like the cancer cures or whatever? So there's all kinds of funds based upon what your interest is, and just start delving into what you like. It's the best way.
And researching it.
Well, of course.
And the thing is, there's so many different things out there in life. I'm sorry, it's just millions and trillions, really. There's so much out there to research and find out what we really like. Yeah. Now, with your programs, what are they like for people who may want to become a client with you?
It depends on how much need they have. I have different lengths of programs, and if they start with a shorter one, they're always welcome to take the money they put in that one towards the next one and get the benefits of that one for that term. My shortest one is about 6 weeks, a month and a half, which is they just have simple budget issues, or they just want to do something. If they have more besides that, plus debt, plus they need to start saving, then I would suggest easily the 3-month or possibly the 6-month program. The 6-month is the one that I have. It's 1 hour a week. The other ones are half hour a week. So it just depends, once I speak with you and get to know you on the initial consultation, how much help I think you might need. I will never steer you towards a high end if I think you can be fine with one of the lower ones. So that's not what I do. I'm like a fiduciary. I'm not a fiduciary, but I'm like one. I will suggest what's best for you, not what's best for me. So it just depends on their needs.
It's exactly what I do with my coaching. It depends on their needs, everyone has their own fingerprint of health. So everybody probably has their own fingerprint of wealth, right? And so you really need to look at what's going on in the bottom line and what is going to be more beneficial for them, because there's so many things that both of us can offer. And I'm sure you create a unique thing for them, no matter what size number of weeks it is. It's created to them, catered to them, because they may have some weaknesses or some strengths. And you can say, well, you're doing really well here, but let's try to work over here more. Am I right?
Yeah, well, because no two people are the same. There's no cookie cutter. If anybody tries to sell you a cookie cutter program, then that's not the one you want to go to. There's a lot of coaches that offer individual coaching based upon your needs, and that's exactly who you want to seek out. Someone who's got your best interest and knows what, it takes time to listen to you to really know what you need.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Because that's what my consultations are all about, is that we get to know each other, and they get to know me. I get to know them, and I will, pave a way to what they want to do. Because if I don't pave a way to what they want to do, just like you, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because it has to be their decision.
Yeah.
Of, how they want to approach their health, or like for you, their wealth, because maybe they have some interest right now that's important that they deal with at that time.
Well, and sometimes they just want to buy a car and they don't know how they can ever save up for it.
Exactly.
Or they can't afford the big car payments. They want to know how they can do it differently. And I say, well, do you have to have that car? Or do you just see, what do you need the car for? Haul a bunch of people just to get from point A to point B. Like I told my students, I said, when you guys get out of college or high school, I said, if you need that car for transportation for college, your best bet is to buy a used car under $5,000. First of all, you're at the age until you're 24, especially the boys, that this is the highest insurance you're ever going to pay. Why get a more expensive car that's going to cost you a whole lot more? Just get the one that's the best transportation. And they all kind of listen to that. I even taught them how to get into college for a lot less. We had a great college counselor too, other counselor stuff, but just I helped them. Like I told them, don't buy the class ring from Jostens. I said, you can go to Walmart and buy it for a quarter of the price. I don't think the school liked me. ASB didn't like me, but I said, you got to learn how to spend your money. If you want the same thing, you can get it less somewhere else. So it's like, take this car and take care of it, then sell it and trade it up for this car after you've been saving money. Still pay cash for every car. Whenever you've been saving the money and you got this car, now you bought it for cash. I said, first of all, you need to build your credit at my students' age. My adults already have hopefully credit built, but if they don't, then I'll give them something similar where you keep all the money for cash in a credit union, not a bank. And then you take half of it to put down on the car and have the credit union take from your savings to the car loan, which helps you build credit, consumer credit. which is one of the biggest things you need, one of the factors of your credit report. So I say each person is different. So it just depends on where they're at as to what guidance or help I would give them.
Exactly. It's the exact same thing with me because everybody has a different issue with health. And, we need to concentrate on certain areas first in order for to have fruition everywhere else, so to speak. It's the exact same concept. And, when it comes to buying a house and they have never bought a house, or even maybe they just want to get a condo, what do you recommend?
I was a volunteer coach for Women's Money Matters, and because I do a lot of volunteer work, and I was hooked up with this girl who was in her 20s, I believe. She had 3 kids under 5. She was single. She had 2 goals for me to help her with. She wanted to buy a car and she wanted to buy a house. I said, I can probably help you buy the car really soon, but the house is going to take a lot more time. But because she was low income, there's all kinds of programs open to them to either do the down payment or the match or something else. So it depends on where they're making 6 figures and don't have anything in the bank. Well, they're obviously not going to qualify for low income subsidized loan somewhere. So they just have to cut up and save it. So they're going to be having more things cut out of their spending and have that go straight to saving for that down payment. And of course, with houses these days, and of course I'm in California, but even a modest $300,000 to $400,000 condo, I'm talking a 2-bedroom, like if it's a starter home for somebody, that's going to take almost $100,000 down with all your fees and everything. So they just have to save up for it. It's not the same as when I was buying houses in full for cash for $100,000. It's a little different now, but it could still be done.
Yeah, and they also have to pay property taxes and insurance. So it's a lot more complicated. And with the car, you have to pay for car insurance too. So it's something that they need to budget for. And I'm sure you help them with that.
Get the older car that doesn't cost you as much. Like, why do you want the car for? For show. Like, for example, a real estate agent, they would need a nicer car if they're taking clients out. If this is to get you to and from work, you can have that older car. Who cares what you drive? You shouldn't care what you drive. It's all about saving the money you're going to be saving down the road.
Yeah. Unless you're driving many, many miles, you want a car that doesn't break down.
Well, yeah, right. Then you want really good gas mileage to not pay the money in gas. So everybody's different. Yeah, it depends on what they need.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you have any other scenarios you want to talk about regarding what you do for others? Because we went through your questions already.
Well, I focus on women, but there was a male at church that was a single male, and he had his own trucking company. He had his own truck, and he contracted with the companies to do his trucking and whatnot. But his problem with him and his budget was he was kind of commingling his personal budget with his business budget. And his clients that he hauled for weren't paying him in a time like 7 days. They weren't paying it a timely manner, and he let it go. I said, you need to be firm up. So I taught him about all that. I told him about separate accounts and how he has to transfer money to, take his paycheck out of the business account, and put it in a regular account. So I kind of taught him all about those things. And he actually went to buy a house a few months ago, but excuse me, something happened with the deal and he backed out and he lost his deposit. I don't know what came up that he didn't like, but at least he had money now to put down for a house, so he was very happy with that. He learned his budget's going better. He's actually buying a second truck now, and he's going to hire somebody to get almost double the income, and of course just pay them an hourly rate. So he's actually doing quite well now. So I was very happy.
So you not only are you helping single moms or a single man, but you're helping them, with ideas of how separating the cost between the business and personal, which is really important. So I guess you do that because when people are buying the homes, it's kind of like a business in a way. So you kind of show them how to do that.
Well, even when I was married, I was always the budgeter because that was just my thing. It was very easy for me. So I've had couples also, but it's the woman I've dealt with, and she's handling that. She's never probably invested. Maybe the husband did the investing. So I'm kind of like teaching her, hey, you need to be aware of the books and, what he's buying into. Have him work with you, have him teach you. But if you're still a couple, but I'd probably say 60% are single.
Okay.
That I work with.
Okay.
And so I work with their couple. I work with one of the two usually.
Now, do you work with small businesses too, like a single mom?
No. Not businesses, no.
Okay.
I'm personal finance, but the male I mentioned just happened to have his own business, and he was convoluting his business and personal income. So I took, I didn't tell him how to run didn't tell him how to run. I told him that he should be more aggressive in his billing and not let them pay later, have like a, I don't know, pay a not a fine, but a penalty or something for not paying on time, things like that.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
well, interest, but it's just, there's like a flat fee typically. Like, for example, you've heard the term maybe 210 net 30. You get a 10% discount if you pay within 30 days or within 10 days, or you pay all of it within 30. That doesn't apply to his because they had to pay within 7 days. But the same principle, if they don't pay within 7 days, then you have a $50 or $100, depends on maybe the cost of the project, how much you're going to pay a fee for paying late.
Yeah. Well, I know some people that are single and I don't think I think they're commingling their business with their personal life only because it's just the way it seems.
Well, I would hope their accountant would straighten that out because that's
I know, but some people, they may even have a storage space that they're living in, which is really sad. But people are doing it, and I've seen it happen. So that's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
Okay, for the final idea, is there a final idea you want to share before we talk about your offers?
Just like I think I mentioned earlier, the biggest thing is mindset. Know that whatever your current circumstance is, it does not define you. You can do and be whatever you want. You just have to be desirable enough, eager enough, willing to make changes. Because if you don't change, it's like putting a square peg in a round hole. It's never going to fit. If you don't change some of your spending habits, if that's what your problem is, or if you never change tracking your money, you're never going to have a change and see, hey, where can I start saving the money at? So that's my biggest encouragement is don't let your current circumstance define you, because that's not you. You can write your picture and determine who you are. Are you going to be that millionaire if that's a desire? Like I said, it was never my desire. It just happened. I just wanted to be comfortable, just be able to pay my bills and have a little bit of money to make for that emergency account. So everybody's individual, but that's my best advice, because a lot of people come in depressed. This is me. I will always live paycheck to paycheck. I'll never be anything different. I'll never have a bank account. That's not true. Stop telling yourself negative things. You can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. I'm the exact same way, because there's so many possibilities with your health. And if you tend to, stay healthy, it's going to save you money overall on medical bills. And it's just the way you need to focus. What do you want to focus on now? What do you want to do now? And there's always possibilities, always outcomes that you're going to reach. It's just you're going to have to be patient with it and have faith.
Yeah.
And, and like you said, you need to vision what you want to do at the end. Some people can't do that. But at least if they vision to a certain point, then they can move over, be like a rabbit, go to the next one. Go to the next one, or like a frog.
My big vision was traveling the world when I retire, and I've actually have been doing it for the last 3 years. So that's great.
Yeah. But some people are kind of like that frog that want to jump from one lily pad to another, but, in steps. So that's okay as well. So, what do you have? What is your offer for my audience today?
Well, if they're like most of the clients that they come there at the bottom end of the struggle, it would be first of all, a free consultation. I will talk to you, see if I can help you, maybe just give you some free tips, and that's all in part our ways. But if you'd like to subscribe to my newsletter, I will give you that budget sheet I talked about, along with some steps how to get there easier. So I've got 2 handouts actually that will come with the first email, and it's on budgeting. And right now I'm going like on a course from budgeting, get further into it, then go on to maybe debt repayment, then switch to savings, and then switch to investing, then go back and start the loop, but different topics each time. So it's a short, I mail them out every other week, but I would always give you the first one first if you want. So if anybody who signs up for my email, you go to my web address, financialfreedompathway.us, scroll to the bottom of the page where there's the sign up for my email, and I will get you on the list and send you out that first email with the first 2 things, the tips for the newsletter, as well as the spreadsheet and the losing my mind, the steps to have to create that plan. I'm sorry, my mind escapes me right now, but you'll get 2 things.
Okay. But you know what? If they sign up on a call, do you get them a discount? Because you mentioned something up to me. So it's a 10% discount you get them if they sign up with the package from that.
Yeah,
call.
if they do on the first call, yes, I'd offer them 10% off whatever package they would want. Yes.
Yes.
So thank you for reminding me about that one. Yeah, that's definite. That's a plus if they need it, but some of them don't need it, which I'm fine. Just the free consultation or just the email if they think, like if they're like me, they're very proactive. Maybe just the tips they get from the newsletter is enough to help straighten them out. And I don't need to sell them anything. I don't need the money. So if they just want the newsletter, that's extremely helpful to a lot of circumstances, not just picking on one all the time. So.
Yeah, that's fabulous. So again, her website is financialfreedompathways.us. And you mentioned Debi changes lives, so she knows where the lead came from. So Kathy, this is a wonderful offer. And would you like to be a guest again on my show?
I'd love to. Anybody I could help, I'd love to help. Thank you.
You're welcome. So please stick around for closing remarks. You have about a minute after I go through the rest of the information I have to go through. Okay, so stick around. Now, remember, I do revitalize people's lives in many different areas of health and mindset. I start with your gut and your mindset. I do work with hormones as well as blood sugar, bone and joint, brain and heart, immunity. And I love helping people that have anxiety issues as well as athletes. I guide you to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutrient products that reduce symptoms. You'll feel better and possibly lose weight, and it'll uplift your mood. With my mindset coaching, I help you, release that stress, emotions, and emotional entanglements from the past, as well as you're reshaping your core beliefs so you're more successful. So your mindset's going to be more enhanced. With my health optimization and weight release, your body is more efficient. So that's the mind-body solution that makes your heart sing. So ask me about my programs. Set up a complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives. That's DebiChangesLives as in Victory ES.com/Linktree, LINKTREE. And there you get to know me. I get to know you. You can go to the next slide. And I can guide you to your optimum health. And it involves two assessments. The first one here is the health evaluation, where you can rate your symptoms the last 30 days in 4 categories of health. Some questions are in different categories, so answer them all. You get a baseline score. I review it with you. And when you move forward with my services, I create that custom natural holistic strategy for you, and we'll monitor it on a monthly basis to see your progress. I also have 2 different body Zyto scans. I prefer to do Zyto Vizera link because I can do it remotely and internationally. It actually went to Australia and also South Africa. Now, Vizera is a transdermal optical imaging app. I send a link to your phone. You scan your face for 30 seconds. It's only going through your skin, looking at blood flow for components of energetic, functional, emotional, and different body systems and lifestyles. The emotional component is such a hidden gem. It creates a wellness report, not a diagnosis, of biomarkers out of range and products and services that bring it back into range. And I review it with you. The cost of the scan is $75 because it's a very intensive report. And when you move forward with my services, you'll get a $25 discount either on a product or a program. Vizera Link is a transdermal optical imaging app, also known as TOI, and you can look up its accuracy on pubmed.gov. That's pubmed.gov, and find out more about that scan. Also, when people do the scan, they're really amazed what their body tells them, and you'll be too. You can first ask me questions on my site, on my consultation, or just simply get it done and see what it's all about. Also on the site are my programs. You can go to the next slide. Take Your Body Back is my 12-week weight release mindset coaching program, where you're going to be utilizing a new version of you to drive you to success. All coaching is done on Zoom, and the first one's always private to you because I am a certified HIPAA-compliant health coach, and any evaluation is private. So I go through your evaluations. I give you a choice now of 3 different type of programs, and I give you directions on the one that you chose. I also give you directions how to create the new version of you. They'll drive you with emotion and passion to achieve your health and weight transformational goals throughout the journey. And the rest of the coaching, whether it's in group or private, is the same. We'll be celebrating your wins. I'll be guiding over guests with health and mindset tips. And also I'll be showing you how you can use those boards to move you forward. Now, you will become a new you. You can ask me questions on my consultation because my older program I've been telling you to go to doesn't have the third program in it. So you're just asking me which ones that you want to do, and I'll tell you what you have a choice of. Now, YFAST, the intermittent fasting program, is a intermittent fasting program that gets your cells and body humming and turns your metabolism with rich, dense nutrition, high quality essential nutrients. And it also has exercise and recipes. Here you would ask me questions. And if you feel like you need some coaching, I do have a 2 or 4 week program to get you started. It's up to you whether you want to pay for more coaching after that. You could use these smaller programs for mindset coaching and health optimization coaching, but truly those are longer term journeys. I can also create a custom program for you. Now, here are some new programs I have, and they're different. So one of them is for women who are eking into perimenopause and menopause. And this is a complete health system called HOPE. And it's interesting that menopause has generic symptoms. There's a lot of symptoms that people don't realize they have, and they're in menopause. So I have a solution. I coach you through that if you need that coaching, but at least you have these product line. And I also have a natural GLP program, which is a YGY GLP 30-day system that you can use. And it's all natural. The shots are not actually injectable shots, they're just a drink. And the other 2 are drinks as well. And you can be losing some weight this way as well, but it's a natural way to go with it, and it's not going to mess up your gut. It's actually going to make your gut function better. So contact me about that. I can add coaching to that if you want, and you'll be releasing weight, and I want to make sure you keep the weight off too. And finally, learn more about, you can go to the next slide. Learn more about my services, products, programs, and offers, as well as articles and blogs, and upcoming shows and events and promos by subscribing to my newsletter, which is at debichangeslives.com/radio TV show. And I'll give you a gift of that 30-day health and mindset daily action journal, which I kind of told you about a little bit, where you're going to track your gratitudes, thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You're aware of them. Food, water, supplements, and exercise you do on a daily basis. You can even track your measurements. Then you want to review it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis and see your wins and celebrate them. Find your gaps to work on. Or you reach out to me for coaching to get you over the gaps. And this is a great health and mindset awareness tool. I am certain that you found this show educational, eye-opening, and you got some great tips from Kathy. Reach out to me for my services, programs, products, and offers, and reach out to Kathy for her services offers. And I think we have some time for Kathy to come back for closing remarks.
Hi.
Hi. So is there anything else you want to say?
Not that I can think about it. This is just a passion of mine. I don't do it out of the need for the income. So I'm truly here with the servant's heart to help people. And I love to help as many as I can. But I do only take on 2 clients a month because I am enjoying my retirement.
Hey, I don't blame you. You know what? That's pretty much I thought. You just do it because you just love doing it and you want to help others. So, yeah. And that's pretty much, I'm passionate about revitalizing people's health too. And, when you have people like us to coach you, you're going to get a lot further on because we really are in there in the trenches to help you get through your journey. So reach out to Kathy for your financial advisement regarding, budgeting, investing, and other things that she can offer you. Reach out to me from the health perspective. And remember, health and wealth go hand in hand. Don't you agree?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So remember, continue to watch my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives, on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, where your holistic journey begins.